This movie is wild in the best way.
K-Dog's movie review.
Love Lies Bleeding is directed by Rose Glass and stars Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien. Stewart plays a gym manager who falls in love with O'Brien, a bodybuilder training for a competition in Vegas. This movie was not on my radar at all. I had no idea what it was about until I saw the trailer the day before seeing it. It definitely intrigued me though. It looked like a romance but with thriller and horror elements. I haven't seen Glass's previous movie, Saint Maud, but I heard it was good. So I sat my fanny down in the theater and watched this. And I gotta say,
Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy and I feel like loving you.
I fucking loved this movie. Love Lies Bleeding executes the perfect combination of thriller, romance, drama, and surprisingly, dark comedy. This movie is much funnier than I thought it was going to be. Dark for sure, but it worked for me. It can be so hard for a movie like this to get that balance and tone done correctly. I think this movie did it perfectly. Not once was I bored during this movie. So let's get into it. This movie is set in New Mexico in the 80s. The set design, costumes, and makeup here feel very authentic. This world feels lived in. Apartment buildings, clothes, restaurants, and even the characters feel dirty and aged. So many modern movies fail to get that real feel, but this movie nails it. The cinematography is also great. The way in which the characters are framed in scenes heightens attention. When this movie slows down and goes into artsy mode, we are given a mix of visuals that go from beautiful to unnerving. Not only do they look great, but they also serve a purpose in the story. The use of color is also wonderful here. Horrific memories depicted in dark red tones, juxtaposed with rich blues when love is in the air. All of this masterfully intertwined with the sound design. The sound here is excellent. So many moments in this movie are enhanced by rich, intimate sounds. This movie isn't afraid to let the audience bask in the horror of that claustrophobic intimacy. You can tell the director has experience with horror based on how unsettling some of the sounds were in this movie. Whether a character is working out of the gym, smoking a cigarette, firing a gun, or experiencing a high, the mix of intimate sound and camera work throws us into the center of that experience. It was fucking great. The story here is pretty simple and straightforward, but that's perfectly okay because the characters, their interactions, and the way in which this is made makes it engaging to watch. Scenes can go from being horrific to beautiful to comedic, all within a matter of minutes. And as I said earlier, it's enhanced with artistic scenery and sound. While I didn't necessarily connect with our characters on a personal level, I was invested in their story. I was never bored, always waiting to see what would happen next. This movie is also great because as you begin to dissect character interactions, you can draw parallels and deeper meanings behind this simple story. The acting in this movie is also great all around. Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien put on phenomenal physical performances, ranging from sexual, horrific, to comedic. Whether I loved or loved to hate a character, all of the actors kept me engaged with their performances. Even in scenes without dialogue, you can feel their emotion pouring out of the screen. Ed Harris plays a wonderfully creepy but realistic villain. Love that hair, or lack thereof. The characters in this movie feel pretty basic, with simple motivations. On the surface, it's hard to connect with anyone in particular. But the ways in which they share desires for love and acceptance and how they go about achieving those things kept me engaged. So overall, I thought this movie was great. It's dark, it's gritty, it's horrific at times, but it feels authentic. And when it starts to go overboard with silliness, it recognizes this and shifts into dark comedic art. I'd highly recommend this movie. I'm very interested in seeing future projects from Rose Glass. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was kind of middle of the road? Did you appreciate that ending? Did you think it was a little too silly? Till next time.